where do triglycerides come from? Like, how do they get in your blood? So in this video, I want to dispel 3 myths that I see going around about where triglycerides come from. I did a lot of research on this, and I discovered from different very reputable sources a good piece of good information from WebMD, from the Mayo Clinic. So this is really interesting. So a lot of people just go based on what they hear. So there are 3 myths. So again in this video, let's get into the 3 myths of where people think triglycerides come from. Myth number 1 is that triglycerides come from fats. Now there's some truth to that, but the blanket statement that triglycerides come from like eating fat is not necessarily true. The fact is that triglycerides come from your body creates them. So it's not only that it comes from fats, like if you just eat something fatty, that's exactly where triglycerides come from. Although they may come from certain fats, they don't just come from fats. It comes from your body, unused calories that you may get from sugary drinks, from carbs. So any unused calories, your body creates triglycerides that get stored and then they get released. And if the energy is not used, some triglycerides are actually let out into your bloodstream. So the unused calories, excessive unused calories, can create triglycerides. Your body will actually create them. So now let's jump into the next myth. Myth number 2 is that you eat triglycerides. There is some small truth to that, but the reality is way more expansive. A lot of people think that, oh, does this food have triglycerides in it? But the reality is that triglycerides come from 2 ways. So it's not only that you necessarily eat them. It can be found in very trans fatty foods, like fried foods, very oily, or if you fried oil. So certain trans fats can have triglycerides, like French fries that are like fried, that kind of thing. Those kind of foods specifically, it's not just that it comes from fat, it's that it comes from trans fat. That you can get triglycerides. That's one aspect to it. So that's one way where you can sort of eat them. The second way is that your liver creates triglycerides. So when you overconsume sugary carbs or simple sugars, and it becomes excessively used, your liver creates triglycerides. So it goes back to that excess in calories, and then your body starts to burn off the fat, burn off what it's from the calories, trying to use it for energy. And when it's not used for energy, that stuff goes into the bloodstream. So the triglycerides that may be created, that goes unused, can be stored and get into the bloodstream. So that's another way that triglycerides come. So again, it's not only that you eat them, they can be eaten from certain trans fats, and they can be created by the liver from unused calories that, is just excessive. So let's get into the myth number 3. Myth number 3 is that triglycerides are there and that you cannot get rid of them. While genetics plays a role, some people may be more prone to getting higher triglycerides. The fact is that they can be lowered for the most part, obviously depending on certain situations. Someone might see a doctor if they may have other conditions, but in general, the consensus is that they can be lowered with 3 things. One is that working out, so not staying sedentary and exercising. This is in all the research about trying to, where triglycerides come from and how to reduce them, is not being sedentary, working out, avoiding eating sugary foods and simple carbs, so being very vigilant when it comes to eating trans fat foods and sugary foods, too much of those. So avoiding that, and excess in calories. The third thing is getting omega-3 rich foods, especially fish. It's been shown to help reduce some of the triglycerides. So getting, again, omega-3s from the good fats, especially, that can be found in fish. So guys, those have been the 3 myths that we've talked about. Please, if you know anyone who wants to learn about, it might be not fun to share, but the truth is a lot of us need to learn about where triglycerides come from. So go ahead and drop a comment, drop a like on the video, and subscribe, and let me know what else you want to learn about. But again, this has been the 3 myths and the facts of where triglycerides come from and how they get into your blood. Alright guys, see you guys in the next video.